As the Duke is too stubborn to leave Royal Lodge, Prince Andrew's antagonism with Charles grows. Exclusive, the Duke of York has lived at the Windsor estate for 20 years, but the king is said to be eager for him to leave. Despite allegations that King Charles has been trying to kick Prince Andrew out of Royal Lodge, a royal expert believes he's weathered worse storms and says he's weathered worse storms. Even though the Duke is no longer a working member of the royal family, Andrew and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson have lived at the residence for many years. Earlier this year, it was reported that the couple may relocate to Frogmore Cottage, just 5 miles away, due to a drop in Andrew's annual grant, which raised concerns about how he would afford the upkeep of Royal Lodge. However, royal biographer Andrew Loney told Express.co.uk that the relocation does not appear to be taking place since his rivalry with Charles extends beyond the property problem. "I don't see them moving," he remarked. Andrew is obstinate, preoccupied with status, has a contract with Crown Estate, and enough money to maintain himself. He's been through the hardest storms. I fear that this is part of a larger story and rivalry with King Charles that dates back to infancy and involves appearances on balconies, protection, and roles for his daughters. Andrew was the spare to Charles' heir during their upbringing, a dynamic that has also haunted the next generation, contributing to the disintegration of the bond between Princes William and Harry. Andrew's children, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, are not working members of the firm, which means they are not entitled to state-funded protection and must sustain themselves financially. Fergie's recuperation from an 8-hour mastectomy after being diagnosed with breast cancer during a routine mammography has put any potential transfer from Royal Lodge on hold. According to The Telegraph, Andrew's lease complicates matters further since, despite the drop in his grant, he signed a contract for 75 years that he expects to honor. As part of his living arrangement, Andrew committed to pay for Royal Lodge's renovations, which have cost £7.5 million. The Sussexes are outraged by Andrew's invitation to the Queen's death anniversary event. The royal family is reportedly having an informal memorial service to honor 1 year since the Queen's passing in September at Balmoral. Online, royal enthusiasts were outraged by Prince Andrew's invitation to a family reunion on September 8 at Balmoral, which will mark 1 year since Queen Elizabeth's death. Many senior royals, including the Prince and Princess of Wales and their children, will attend the service with King Charles and Queen Camilla. According to The Sun, despite the fact that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are expected to be in Europe the same week, no one from the royal family has contacted them about the event. According to the source, the couple, who now live in Montecito, California, will be in Germany for the beginning of the Invictus Games on September 9. There hasn't been any outreach to them. Both Harry and Andrew have stepped away from royal duties, but some people on Twitter were irritated that Andrew appeared to be getting a free pass, while the Sussexes were snubbed. Others, however, have pointed out that Andrew has a right to be there as the Queen's son, whereas Harry has burned his royal bridges. Harry and Meghan decided to depart the royal family in 2020, while Andrew was forced to resign after a catastrophic interview with Emily Maitlis on Newsnight in 2019. Virginia Giuffre accused him of having intercourse with her when she was 17 at the request of Jeffrey Epstein, which he has consistently denied. Although all family members are invited to official royal events, such as the coronation, regardless of their status as working royals, it is expected that the Sussexes will not be present at Balmoral, despite the fact that Harry is the late Queen's grandson. One Twitter user criticized the Duke of York's legal problems, accusing him of getting a free pass again. Many other royal fans were outraged that Andrew was invited but Harry and Meghan were not. Like it or not, he was her grandson and will have meant the world to her, as did all her children and grandchildren. One Twitter user remarked of the perceived snub. The King and Queen will begin their traditional 3-week summer vacation at Balmoral on August 21, though they are anticipated to stay at Birkhall, their estate mansion. Other royals will stay in the main residence during their visit, with William and Kate caring for their children for at least part of the time. Sarah Ferguson has a cute hidden nickname for Ernest, her grandson. On the newest episode of her podcast, the Duchess of York revealed a new nickname for her 9-week-old grandson. Sarah Ferguson, a loving grandma, has given a lovely nickname for her newest grandchild Ernest, who was born on May 30. The Duchess of York, also known as Fergie, routinely updates her podcast Tea Talks with news about her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, and 3 grandchildren. She refers to Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank's second son, Ernest George Ronnie, as Ernie Bernie, in the most recent episode, which was released on Thursday. Fergie quipped on her podcast that his name makes her think of milk carts, referring to Benny Hill's song Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West, and asked her co-host Sarah Thompson not to start singing. She earlier admitted calling him our new little lion cub in a thank you letter to a royal fan. Eugenie and Jack chose names that allude to the baby's royal and family history. George V's middle name was Ernest. Eugenie announced Ernest's birth on Instagram on June 5, saying he was named after his great-great-great-grandfather George, his grandpa George, and my grandpa Ronald. Jack's late father's name was likewise George. Join our WhatsApp community to receive the most recent royal news directly to your phone. On her podcast, Fergie previously stated that she was touched Ernest was after her father. When Jack and Eugenie told me, "It was so moving that they put my father in there," she explained. "It was extremely nice, I thought, and it made me cry." Ernie is not the only grandchild with a nickname. The couple's 2-year-old son, August, is sometimes referred to as Augie. Fergie claimed she is missing them terribly because she is unable to travel while recovering from her single mastectomy surgery following her breast cancer diagnosis. She also mentioned that Princess Beatrice is gone with her 1-year-old daughter Sienna and her 7-year-old stepson Wolfie.